Deadlock just released some super juicy patch notes, so I'm here to give you the TLDR as best as I possibly can about the whole thing. So bear with me, it's a lot. All of the patch notes are here. I have on my other screen is going to be a written notes for me to try to break this down as much as possible. So again, I'm going to try to scroll through and give you all the information. Here we go. First things first, 24/7 on all regions is unlocked. That means that if you wanted to play the game at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., it doesn't matter. You are now available to play on all regions at any time if you have access, which is huge. 6 stacks will now play against other 6 stacks. Before, you could just solo, if you were solo queue, you would queue into a 6 stack, and that had to be the most annoying thing in the world. So W. They did say you can no longer 5 stack as well. However, that was reverted about an hour after the patch was released. So they did bring that back. There is custom hotkeys per hero. New map UI, some like it, some don't. It's informative, it's not that informative, it's I don't know. I leave it up to you if you guys wanted to see it. There's a new behavior system, so there's a key takeaway for that, and it's don't be an asshole. That's pretty much it. Don't do it. There is a bounce pad directional. So now the bounce pads were changed to fans, and now when you take them, they give you a directional arrow rather than just a generic arrow telling you whatever information. So a little bit of like small changes there. There is no more canceling with spacebar. This is for, let's say, like a hero like Vindicta who uses their flight in the air. Sometimes you would auto cancel it by pressing spacebar. It was just a button that you would press because it felt right. However, they now allowed for a change. They now took that away, but then about a few hours after the patch was released, they did revert it. So now you can bind it to spacebar, bind it to whatever else you want to, so that way that cancel doesn't happen. Sandbox now has orb practice. Not only with the orb practice, it also gives you the ability to click the orb and give you a timer. So how fast do you shoot the orb? Not only that, this is one of the most important changes of this update. Is that used to be that orb farming was in favor of the denier and not the claimer. You are the claimer, they are the denier, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. But now when you deny somebody, you kind of had a slight advantage. Now that advantage is now slimmer. It is pretty much even right down the middle. You have an equal chance to deny as well as they have an equal chance to claim. So if you felt like you were getting denied over and over in lane, that was why. Huge thing for people who want to get sweaty, people who want to invite their friends but don't want the sweatiness of other players. You can now create custom lobbies. With the custom lobbies, if you press F7, which opens up the console, you can type in private_lobby_create, and that will create a lobby with a very temporary UI, so that way you can have customs. I can see this being used in tournaments, on early tournaments, and people who just really want to sweat and practice. 2 things changed with Midboss. 1, the Midboss HP, he used to roar when he was at 60 or 50%. Now that has changed to 60%. So it gives you a little bit of time to try to stop the people who are doing Midboss. Not only that, is the roars are now different from when the mid-boss spawns to when it is 60%. So there are 2 different roars to differentiate which is which. Differentiate. Jesus, can I speak today? Hello. So there is a lot of changes with the proc sounds to weapons. So when we scroll down into here, you will see a ton of changes. I didn't want to break down every single change of this, so I'm going to just leave this here. We're going to screenshot it, pause the video, do whatever you need to do, look at all this stuff. I am going to also be posting the notes down below in the description, so that way you guys can check this out yourselves. But pretty much this is all the changes, and it's a lot. So 2 changes with this, or there's 2 kind of interesting changes. So the tier 4 items such as crippling headshot, lucky shot, ricochet, the big 6,300 items are now 6,200. They made it cheaper by 100 souls, which is cool. That's awesome. That works. You could buy it sooner. And they increased the global cooldowns of everything by 6%. I'm not sure what the change was for, but sure. Another massive change is to the weapon items, the spirit items, and the vitality items. Now, again, this is something that I could go through, but it would need its own video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show in each tab of here's the weapon tabs, or here's the weapon items. You can pause the video, screenshot it, do whatever. The vitality, or we can just put it up on stream in all 3 categories and people can pause it and read it themselves. But there's just too many items with too many changes that it would just need its own explanation for each and why it's good and all that stuff. But I'm trying to give you a TLDR of these patch notes, and I'm not trying to give you the most unbelievable information that'll just clog your brain and you're gonna be like, I can't even hold all this information. But anyway, spirit items. So yeah, this is the spirit items, vitality, and the other one. And the changes we've all been waiting for. So Abrams, he got a slight nerf to his stun and his resilience. Beep Bop got some quality of life changes. He can now jump and shoot, whoop, and he can even hook allies. So if it's kind of like a rescue beam, or if your teammate's in trouble, just hook them back and you save them. So that's really cool. The hook range is reduced by 5 meters, and Hyper Beam now does splash damage. I would say overall a buff. Dynamo just got some small nerfs to all of his abilities, but still is a very impactful hero. In my opinion, one of the best team heroes that you could possibly have in the game. Great Talon, some quality of life changes when facing a Talon regarding his abilities hitting through walls. Also some solid nerfs to his overall damage. And we'll see how this plays out. So overall, I think he just got a necessary nerf in some of the strong points. Haze, she's still annoying as f. Infernus, minor nerfs and still a beast. I think he just got minor nerfs to his HP, if I remember correctly. Yeah, his HP and his slow resistance, he just go faster with W. Ivy, no real significant changes that are worth bringing up. I'm going to be honest with you, but again, up to you. Kelvin, major nerf to his Arctic Beam. All my Kelvin players, the fire rate that it used to give when you shoot it and it would hit people, it used to slow their fire rate by 80%, which is now cut in half to 40%. That is a major, major, major nerf. Not only that, is the slow is reduced by about 10%. Another big change is using the Frozen Shelter, his ultimate ability, to, let's say, when you're killing Midboss and you lock down the Rejuvenator so you can guarantee getting it. If you do that, it would actually make the Rejuvenator invulnerable, so you can't even hit it until Frozen Shelter is disappeared. So you can no longer secure important things from the enemy team. Lady Geist got some big buffs. She's definitely hitting like a truck, going off of spirit damage increasing. So she hurts. Lash, some solid buffs. More basically the easiest way to describe it, more spirit, more damage. That's pretty much about it. McChicken, also known as McGinnis, got some big buffs involving spirit. Kind of same thing. More spirit, more damage. But not only that, is the more spirit you have, the bigger the AoE heal is. This could be beneficial in a team fight if you kind of throw it down and it does heal you. Think of it as almost like a Frozen Shelter from Kelvin, basically. Moe and Chill, or Moe and Krill. Easiest way to describe his buffs, nerfs, everything. He's still annoying. Paradox, no significant change there. 7. Moving right on to 7. He no longer has base bullet resistance. He has his headshot reduction increased, so he takes less headshot damage, and his abilities have been nerfed besides his ult CD. So overall, they kind of gutted him a little bit. We'll see how it plays out. All right, so Shiv. So Shiv got some little nerfs to his serrated knives, not hitting behind walls, which I think every hero in the game got some nerfs with their abilities hitting behind walls. He did get some damage reduction on his slice and dice, which it is a very strong ability, especially when he was full raged. Vindicta. I honestly want to go through and explain everything, but I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm not going to. Pause the video, read everything, and then pick Vindicta, because she's insane. Viscous, overall nerfed his damage slightly, but buffed his ult with some quality of life movement. So everybody knows that Viscous is one of the most annoying heroes to lane against. Probably one of the most fun to play. I'm not really positive. But his goo ball was always kind of hard to steer. They did change that, so he will be a little bit easier to maneuver in that goo ball. Yamato got a massive buff, in my opinion, specifically to ammo. So now she is spirit-based when it comes to her passive. Her passive is now, the more spirit she has, the more ammo she has. And if you've ever played against a Yamato or played Yamato, 13 bullets is usually like the max that you get, and depending on what build you go with. And we just didn't feel like enough to win either last hitting or doing whatever. So that's a giant change. But overall, the rest of her damage got some quality of life changes, and she did get nerfed in her damage. And I believe that's pretty much most of the changes. Besides, there is one small change to the lane, and it is the new green lane, which used to be the orange lane, which I'm assuming is also the blue lane. They added a veil. So if you're a Veil Walker enjoyer, which is an item in the game that gives you shields if you walk through it, and invincibility, They now put that within the lane. So now you can pretty much farm from this spot, walk from it, surprise your enemies, whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you, the rest of the patch notes, I'll leave that up to you if you feel like you want to check them out. I don't think they're super important. Other than that, these are the quickly given TLDR of each without going into massive detail of the patch notes. I will be linking the patch notes down below for you to click for yourself. So that way you can go through it. You can check it out. You can go scroll down to your favorite hero or your favorite item to make sure and see if it got a buff or a nerf. Anyway, thanks for watching, and make sure if you want to see more Deadlock content, you subscribe. I will be trying to post more Deadlock content on the daily, and I'm excited for the journey. So thank you so much for watching. Again, peace.